I've had already in a very short presidency a number of noteworthy opportunities, both to address this assembly and also to preside over a remarkable session this morning with the Vice President of the United States. It was a great privilege, but I consider it to be an equally great privilege to be able to stand here with colleagues, members of our Rabbinical Assembly who have reached an enormous, a milestone of enormous significance in 50 years of membership in the Rabbinical Assembly. I am proud to say that I am completing the 31st year of my rabbinate, and I taught for 10 years in the Rabbinical School of the seminary and had the opportunity to watch the students stay the same age as I got older. And when I stopped teaching, the clock moved a little bit differently. And it's relatively rare these days that I have the opportunity to feel myself a young rabbi. I remember the days, and I just wrote an article about this, when, because I came to Forest Hills as the assistant rabbi to Ben Zion Boxer, Zichrono Livracha, when I came to Forest Hills, I was newly ordained at 28, and he was 73. And it was clear that I was being brought in as what was universally referred to as the dynamic young rabbi. It got to the point where I felt as if one more person introduced me as the dynamic young rabbi, that I would clock them. And then, as I wrote in the same piece, when Rabbi Boxer Zichrono Livracha passed away in 1984, I was 31. I became the rabbi of the congregation, and I remember thinking to myself that the only sugya I should be studying was the one about Elazar ben Azariah, where he says, Haray ani kiven shiv'im shana, and wishing that I had sprouted white hair and a beard overnight. It's many years later, and I need no divine intervention to remind me that I'm 31 years into my rabbinate. My hair is gray, my beard is gray, my knees hurt in the morning. But with my colleagues here, who have served for 50 years in the rabbinate, I am humbled and made to feel that I'm in the prime of my rabbinate, even as they celebrate remarkable accomplishment. It's not just a question of lasting. Many of us have joked upon receiving the honorary degree of Doctor of Divinity from the Jewish Theological Seminary after 25 years, the DD, we all refer to it as the didn't die degree. But that's not at all what we mark today. We mark colleagues who have Shehecheyanu v'kimanu, they have been privileged by God to be sustained and able to reach this day, but they reach it with dignity, with honor, and with the continued capacity to contribute to our assembly and to the work of the conservative rabbinate and of the Jewish community as a whole. I consider it to be a signal honor to be able to share the pulpit with these remarkable men. Some instances, spouses are able to be here. In some instances, spouses are not. In some instances, children are here with them. No matter the circumstance, they honor us with their presence, and I hope that they feel that we are able to honor them with ours. What a great privilege. I want to call first Rabbi Mendel Abrams. Please stand with me. Okay, Mendel. I'm going to read the certificate once. I think to repeat it each time would be a bit much. But these beautifully framed certificates offered by the Rabbinical Assembly read as follows. Ashira Ladonai ki gamal alai. The members of the Rabbinical Assembly and Convention assembled offer tribute and honor to our revered colleague and friend, Harav Menachem ben Shmuel V'Gittel Abrams, Rabbi Mendel Abrams, who this year marks the jubilee anniversary of his ordination. Our hearts are filled with gratitude for his dedicated service to God, Torah, and our people. We pray that he continues to experience contentment, well-being, and blessing amid the love and esteem of family and friends, colleagues, and community. Dated May 8, 2012, Tet Zayin Iyar, Tafshin Ayin Bet. My privilege to sign this certificate. Mendel, congratulations. We're thrilled that Lila's here with you. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Very welcome. I want to call Rabbi Herbert Fried. Hi, What? Chaim is good. Okay, with pleasure. Chaim, I know that you are in Avelut, and we're sorry that you lost your beloved Marion. We're privileged and honored that you're able to be with us today. And we hope that Marion is here with you in spirit as she is with us. It's my honor to present you with this certificate as an expression of our appreciation of all that you've contributed to our assembly, to the conservative rabbinate. Congratulations. Harav Zalman Ephraim ben Aaron Akohen Udvora Friedman.
Wow.
I should have said Ya'amod and it would have been okay. Rabbi Seymour Friedman.
Cy Friedman.
I know. Cy and Rafi's here with you. Cy, we actually have a long personal history going back into Forest Hills. That's right. And I'm delighted to be able to share this special moment with you. I couldn't be happier. And I hope that Dvorah enjoys improved health. We're thrilled that Rafi is able to be here with you, and we wish you mazel tov on this great occasion. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Harav Ze'ev Dov ben Yisrael Upnina, or if I want to be really for the Bialiks among you, Ufnina Horn. And this certificate is being accepted by Bill's son-in-law, Randy Mark. Randy, I'm sorry that Bill couldn't be here today. Please extend to him our warmest congratulations and our very best wishes. Mazel tov. Harav Yarden Shmuel ben Harav Aryeh Leib. It's really rare that I come across a name that I can't read. Reb Aryeh Leib Verd Ofzer. That would be really good, except that it's Rabbi Albert Thaler. Yarden Ofzer. Sounds a little bit like Jordi Ofzer. Is Steve here? Steve Kane? Steve, come on up. And I'm going to symbolically present you with this. And we're going to do a double check on this. Okay? I'm very... I don't think it's Yarden Ofzer, though. No. I know him. He's my neighbor. I'm sorry that Al couldn't be here. He's been a loyal colleague and a good friend to me since my earliest years in Queens, and a prince of our movement as a pioneering Ramah director and a congregational rabbi in a transitional neighborhood who's still working hard. And we value his membership. Please take this. We're going to double check the name on the certificate. No, it's not the right name. So if you want, I'll hold it.
Yeah,
I think I should probably hold it. But tell Al that I personally,
we'll take the English name.
I will deliver it to him in Flushing. Okay? That's my personal promise. And my apologies. Thank you. Yeah, sure.
I just want to say a word. Those who know my father-in-law had valve replacement, doing beautifully, and is actually getting to the point where we will be spending a month in Israel celebrating one of his grandchildren's bar mitzvah coming up at the beginning of July. And as Jerry said, still works full-time, 24 hours a day. Right now he's down to about 18 because he's recovering, but in really doing great health, and wished he could have been here, but I'm very happy to represent him.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. And Acharon Chaviv, Harav Shammai ben Hechazan Shmuel V'chaya, Rabbi Sidney Zimelman. Sidney, one of my earliest memories of coming to Rabbinical Assembly conventions is meeting you. I remember you from years at the Concord, and you were always a gracious senior colleague to me, and warmly accepted me from the very beginning. And I appreciate your continued involvement with the Assembly, and you enrich our organization with your membership. Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
I just want to add a word. The memories of the seminary have been deepest and fondest in my heart. Over the years, and 50 years, I guess, instead of a milestone, some people would consider it a millstone, but it's not. It was a time of graciousness that I felt from all of my colleagues. It was a time when I spent time in the service after my graduation. This is from a yeshiva bocher from Torah V'das in Williamsburg, who went later to Yitzchak Honen's yeshiva, spent 3 years with, yes, you know that, 3 years with Soloveitchik, and then Finkelstein wanted to know why I wanted to come to the seminary. I told him then, as I tell you now, that the experience I had is very similar to your president here. But I found that the acceptance, the sense of tolerance, the sense of love and amity and fellowship that I found at the seminary was like something I had in no other place. And so even after I graduated and came back from the Air Force in Japan, my principle of, incidentally, there are connections all over the place. Zachary Heller's father, A.M. Heller, was the first pulpit I held at the Flatbush Jewish Center as an assistant and then an associate with him. But in that school, in the Hillel school, Jordan Ofsayer, which we just read, graduated with me. His father was the principal there. So the connections are sort of so bound, verbunden, verknüpft. Just yesterday, walking on a bus, onto the bus to go to the installation of our revered president, a young man came over to me, and I've forgotten his name, but he said, you know, about 16 or 17 years ago, I saw you at the Laity Lodge, and I remember your presentation there as, not a scholar, a teacher. This was in Texas when we had a meeting of all the seminarians, Christian, Jewish, Catholic, Protestant. We didn't have any Muslims there. But for a person to tell me that he remembered even what I said there is something that fills my heart with a sense of gladness and joy. And this is only overflowing the sense of gratitude I have for all the friendship, both from the rabbis and their their wives throughout the years that will forever be in the halls of my memory. Just one commercial. My brothers, younger brothers, Saul graduated the seminary with me from the cantorial school. And Paul, Zim, these are the Zim brothers. If you tune in to YouTube, I said it was a commercial, and you plug in the prayer for the state of Israel, sung by the colonel who was the head of the Israeli Air Force, chaplain, great Chazan, Shai Abramson, I think it's Abramson, yes, you will get the greatest sense of nachas from listening to the music that my brother wrote, and he was given a doctorate in the seminary just a few years ago, the second cantor only. And here I'm bragging, but I have a right to. It's not about me. It's about him. You will enjoy it. And that's all. If you want to see my other brother, Paul Zim, see A Stranger Among Us. He is the chazan dressed up as a chosid, but he does the wedding. Thank you so much.
I think we're going to end. If I may, I'm just going to close with a story, and then we'll take a group picture. Since you mentioned your background, I'll give you a coda on my presentation last night. When I interviewed at JTS for the Rabbinical School, as many of you will remember, because undoubtedly you had the same experience, once upon a time, it's kinder and gentler now, but once upon a time, there would be people designated on admissions committees to really press you on a particular issue. I could use a less kind word, but you get the point. And at my admissions committee, Avram Holtz, who's one of the most soft-spoken, kindest, gentlest people, for some reason was the guy who chose to grill me on why an Orthodox kid would want to come to school at JTS. And he was absolutely unrelenting. I mean, he asked me, what would I do if the only teachers I could find for the Sunday school were Orthodox, and they refused to teach biblical criticism, and he was going at me and going at me and going at me. And I remember Neil Gilman looking at him and going, Avram, it's enough. It's enough. So years later, I had the opportunity to be on an admissions committee myself, and there was, I had many opportunities, and there was a candidate by the name of Irv Elson, who is a colleague of ours, and he was a YU graduate, and they said, Jerry, you know, you have a background at YU. Why don't you press him a little bit about why an Orthodox guy wants to come to JTS? So I asked him a few pointed questions about, really, why are you here? What are you hoping to find? If you want to believe in karma, I think it's Colonel Elson now, is my son-in-law's commanding officer in Okinawa. He's in charge of all the chaplains, and he meets my son-in-law, who reports to him and goes, eh? And he goes, I know your father-in-law. And I sent a message via my daughter, who's really adorable, and I figured he would be much more inclined to be nice to her because she doesn't have to salute him. I said, please tell Colonel Elson, Captain, just tell him I'm really sorry. I meant no harm. I wish him well, and be kind to my son-in-law. Al chet shechatanu. Thank you so much.